Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scotty D, and your host, the head of creative Eddie Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. Oh, we're back after a minor hiatus. Individually, we all have stuff going on, but collectively, we're back once again like bad breath in the morning. I know y'all tired of hearing me say it, but I'm going to say it. Once again, we're back at it once again with your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I go by the name of Eddie Cool, a.k.a. the HOC up in this thing. And yes, we had an abbreviated episode last week. Thank y'all for listening. Hopefully this episode will get it up on YouTube pretty soon. But enough of my incoherent rambling. No, before I do that, you know what? We didn't stage a fake kidnapping like that girl did in Alabama. And unlike the writers and the actors, we are not going on strike. Business is booming, baby. So enough of my incoherent rambling. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first from a big old studio, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Yes, it's true. I'm working from the Share Studios here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We got a couple weeks until we fully open, but that's what I've been working on. I should go on strike because I'm not getting paid anything. And so Eddie Cool needs to change that. I refuse to work under these conditions. And then you got the other guy that's constantly berating me, making me feel lesser than a human being. And I can't work under these conditions. I refuse to. I'm not doing it anymore. Strike. Spencer Strider just threw another. I'm just kidding. Spencer Strider did just throw another strike. I don't know what's going on, but my incoherent rambling. Go ahead and introduce the other guy. Let's go ahead and do what it do. Yes, sir.
And here is the other guy. He is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. The most intense, the most thuggish, rugged, tough utility personnel in all of the Trinity High School District and all of Washington County. Ladies and gentlemen, he is growing a part-time beer in the summertime, the money man, Scotty D.
Take my hand off the Never Land. Good to see you guys. Good to be back with you. We did our own little thing last week. We pieced together a little show. It's just not the same as being with you guys. Well, we may have to do something similar next week. I'm not sure yet. We're up in here. Summertime's weird. It's a hard time. But hey, Be Live, I do want to give you a compliment.
Oh boy. Exactly. Here we go.
So last week we did not record together, but I listened to what you had to say. Well, I listened to the first hour. I didn't get to the second hour yet. But during the first hour of your dissertation, you mentioned you would like to see a home run derby with veterans, former players. Love that idea. I don't know if that was your idea or you were copying it, or you said that you had a similar idea that someone else that you heard about. Oh man, that'd be great. I'd love to see Pujols and A-Rod and Big Poppy go at it in a veterans.
You want A-Rod? You really want A-Rod? I don't
A-Rod, get A-Rod in there. Get all them old steroid boys in there. Get Bonds back. McGuire, Sosa.
Put them all in there.
Let's do it all. I mean, if you give them enough notice to cycle up, it could be a heck of a fireworks show for the midsummer class. But that would be really cool, because this past All-Star game, the old boys, they get a little bit tired. Rodriguez from Seattle, he went off in the first round. So I think if we brought the veterans back, give them like each a minute, and then that'd be it. You don't got to put them through the ringer. Whoever hits the most home runs, that's it. Even bring back like the crime dog, Fred McGriff, new Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame, yes, sir.
Newly minted Hall of Famer, Fred McGriff. Him and Scott Rowland went in, I believe, this past weekend. Again, still not super sold on that one, but I did like the crime dog being picked in there. Anyway, that was just a little. I wanted to pay a little compliment before we get into the flow of the show, because we did actually have a pretty big sporting event, Eddie Cool, this past weekend.
Oh, we sure did. But before we get into it, Scotty D, I saw a picture this week of a bunch of Hall of Famers sitting at the table. If I'm not mistaken, it was Dave Winfield, Eddie Murray, Chipper Jones, Larry Walker, Cal Ripken Jr., and there may be a few more, Frank Thomas, and yeah.
That's quite a table.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Jim Tomei and a few other guys. I'm like, now, this is something you frame, and they're all at the table, and I think Eddie Murray's over there with a drink in his hand, like, yeah. So I mean, it goes to show, man, we love you, and those guys are having a good time. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. Golf was going on this weekend. I see you guys. I see what y'all doing there. I see y'all hopping. So we look like the whack-a-moles, but anyway. Oh, God, this is hilarious. The British Open. Once again, this guy is working all the damn time. He didn't get time to watch TV. But Scotty D and B Live were talking in the group chat. And fellas, fill me in like Craig David on what the hell happened this weekend across the pond.
Well, this was a pretty much slam dunk for Brian Harman. He pretty much ran away and hid from the field pretty early. He took a 5-shot lead into Saturday, kept it, took it into Sunday, and it finished, I think, with a 6-shot advantage, I believe, was the final tally. He's 37 years old, 36 years old, been on the tour for a while. It's his first win since 2017 and only his third career win. So this isn't one of these situations where we see like a young up-and-comer and say, oh, man, I think we're going to see a lot more of these. This was just this guy's weekend, pretty much. This is a guy who's he's a good golfer, and he's actually been playing well. He's been had some top 10 finishes as of late, and he's always been competitive. I think he was 25th in the world coming in. B-Live, I didn't realize this, but this dude's only 5'7". Did you realize that watching it? That's a little dude to be out there, be knocking the ball down the fairway. Left-handed guy, so he's kind of a rare entity. A guy who's under 5, a guy who's shorter than me, and a guy who's left-handed. And he went out and he played his butt off. And he during the Sunday afternoon, he had the perfect opportunity to falter because he had bogeyed a couple holes. At the same time, Jon Rahm, who I consider to be the best golfer in the world right now, was making a little bit of a run. And I think he closed the gap to 3. And he responded in the pouring rain with 2 big-time gut check birdies. And pretty much at that point, I think I texted you at the time and said that might be the cushion he needs to put the field away. And he kind of did from there. He just kind of went on cruise control. It was a miserable day out there. It rained on him the whole day. Ooh, from what they said, it wasn't cold, but it was just steady, constant, hard rain. And so the guy had every opportunity to pull up the 10s, B-Live. I mean, when you got the world's best breathing down your neck, you just bogeyed a couple holes, and it's miserable out there. You have every opportunity to fold up the 10s, and he did not. So kudos to him as a veteran. Even though he hadn't really been in that position before, he came through like a veteran.
One thing that I definitely noticed was you had mentioned that he hadn't won since 2017, but just this year alone, he has 3 second-place finishes.
3? Oh, so wow. Okay.
So he was due. He's been playing really good golf as of late, and it really came to fruition. And like you said, 5-stroke lead into Saturday, 5-stroke lead going into Sunday. And then on top of that, he was paired with Cameron Young, and Cameron Young went the other direction. So when you don't even have pressure from the guy that's hitting along with you, sort of just easy sailing. And I think he bogeyed 4th and 5th. And I think the 5th hole is a par 5.
Something like that, yeah.
And then hole 6, he decided, you know what, let's get this back together. And hole 6 is supposed to be one of the tougher holes on the course, and he birdies that one.
It was a long par 3, I believe, right?
something like that. Don't
one of the two is a long par 3. Yeah, the uphill par 3. Yeah,
but as you said, it was that birdie pretty much gave him the cushion that he could essentially play the way he wanted to play, relax, and even
restored
then,
his confidence, so to speak.
Yeah. Even then, you didn't even see he didn't show any emotion until he was on the green at 18 when it was well solidified. But that was one of those things where stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. I see the finish line. I see you. Stay focused. And then he was like, I could 6-putt this and still win.
Yeah.
I'm good. And so, man, I only got to see the final round. I didn't get to see the first, second, or third round, but it was definitely, I really do enjoy watching Sunday golf. It's just a beautiful thing. I would like to be watching Sunday golf with a little cold one beside me, but that's neither here nor there. But it is refreshing to see that. And Brian Harman definitely played well above the rest of the field. McIlroy was up and down for the majority of the day. Rahm was gaining and then fell off, and then between the grass and the bushes and the sand, every golfer found him except for Harman. So
he played a pretty clean round. And another thing he did was pretty much solidified himself for the Ryder Cup team. And Cameron Young, who was, like you said, playing with him, is also another guy that's in line to get on the team. And Harman has said he would like to earn his way on there, which I don't think he ever has, but he would like to earn his way, not just become a captain's pick, which I at this point, the way with him playing that well, if he should somehow get bumped out of the top 6, I think it'd be hard pressed for Zach Johnson not to choose him anyway, just because of the year he's had, the momentum he has. The one who's a big question mark right now is Justin Thomas, who you guys have heard me say before. That's my favorite player, and he's just missing cuts left and right now. He went out and had a horrible opening round. I think he shot 80 or something on Thursday. He had a respectable second round, but he was already too far off to make the cut. So he's missed the cut now, I think, in his last 2 majors, and he's admittedly frustrated and knows that he's got some work to do to fix it. And this is a guy who I don't think is done winning majors. I just think he's in a bit of a slump, sort of like Jason Day and Jordan Spieth have gone through, and those guys were actually in the mix during the parts of this tournament as well. But Justin Thomas, I feel for the guy because I know what he's capable of, and if the United States is going to go to Europe and win the Ryder Cup, which they haven't done on their soil in, I believe, 30 years, they're going to need their best players in the world playing their best, and they're going to need Justin Thomas to figure it out between now and then. So, interesting weekend of golf there, Be Live.
So, and at the end of the day, I'm almost looking forward to a reset in 2024 and get all of this PIF and Live and PGA, all this mess, and figure it all out and just reset. Let's start over. It's been too much of here, there, and everywhere. But golf is still going to be golf. It's going to be enjoyable to watch, except on the CW. And so, just a side note, the CW just picked up ACC football, and I'm just like, oh dear God.
Big things are happening on the CW.
I got to turn to the CW to watch my Clemson Tigers. We got to do
all
something.
roads lead to CW.
Oh dear sweet mother of God. There's other topics to talk about, isn't there, Eddie? Cool, please help a brother out.
Oh, I didn't know about that, though. That's a nice little caveat there. Well, anyways, speaking of football, this running back situation is real crazy, man. We got Dalvin Cook, he still has no job. Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. A lot of these guys are getting together like, hey, what in the hell is going on? Why are we not getting no money? Why are we getting treated like scraps and slop? Saquon Barkley, he just got some money. So, fellas, with training camp, starting, where do we stand with this whole running back situation? Like, what the hell's going on? How do we feel about that, Scotty D? What say you?
I don't know what these guys expect the league to do. It's been an evolution of getting to this point. It's not like suddenly all the owners said, let's all stop paying running backs big money and we're just going to just pass and not even worry about the running back. It's not that. That's why Austin Eckler's like, why is this happening? Why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing this? I'll stop it. You're still, I mean, Tony Pollard's disappointed and he's going to make $10 million this year. So if these running backs think that they're going to get together and have some kind of unification where we're not going to play, that's never going to happen. It's never going to get to that point because, first of all, some of these dudes are going to get paid. Some of them, Austin Eckler is going to get paid this year. He does have a contract, and Barkley does have a contract. So they're not going to say, well, I'd like Dalvin Cook to get a contract, so don't pay me. It's not going to happen that way. And if you decide that I'm not going to play for that money, some college kid somebody's going to be in his ear and say, kid, you got 5 years and you can go out and make $30 million in the next 5 years. You don't think they're going to take that? Yes. So quit griping and moaning because it's your quarterback's fault. He's taking the biggest piece of the pie and they're running the offense through the quarterback these days. This isn't like 1992 when Emmitt Smith held out and the Cowboys couldn't win and they had to go throw the bank at him back then. This is different. The times have changed, and the running back is not the focal point of the offense anymore. The quarterbacks and the receivers are. So there's eventually this thing might come a little bit full circle, and the back's value might go back up because that kind of thing happens from time to time in sports. It's cyclical, but I mean, what are you going to do? You just have to deal with it. If you're a running back, you're still getting paid. You might not be making as much money as Patrick Mahomes or Jaylen Brown, but you're getting paid handsomely. So accept your fate.
Did you just bring up Jaylen Brown from basketball to make your point?
Yeah, because he got a super stupid contract earlier today. Anyway.
$60 million. Let's talk about some things where Scotty D is dead wrong.
Dead right. I'm completely dead right.
You're wrong on so many different factors because
tell me about it.
Not only is the running back position becoming devalued on a professional level, there are no colleges that are running a new style pro offense that's beneficial to running backs. The only running backs that are getting paid right now are the ones that are catching the football out of the back of the field. Who actually is running that type of offense at the collegiate level? So these guys are coming in, they could stack up 2,000 rushing yards in college and do all of these accolades, everything like that. What exactly does that get him? Bijan Robinson from Texas, he got drafted in the first round. It's very possible that he will play throughout his rookie contract and then never see a top dollar contract because there's 4 years of running backs that came right behind him.
And you know what he'll be live? Rich beyond his wildest dreams.
Off of a rookie contract in the NFL? I don't think so.
You don't think you can get rich off of 4 years, $40 million? That doesn't make you rich.
I'm going to do you better, Scotty D. I see what you're trying to do. And once again, you're dead wrong. It's not rich the way you think of it as. It's your value, period. Like, well, then he can, if he doesn't want to do that, then he can become a school teacher. He went to school. He could become a school teacher for that value. You think he's going to make that much? What do you think? If you have your options, you don't think you're going to say, I can have a 5-year NFL career, make $10 million a year, $6 to $10 million a year, even not even a full time. You make less than that. If you make $5 million a year, you can only do it 5 years. You don't think these guys are going to say, yeah, I'm going to take that? Somebody will. And some of these guys aren't good enough to play wide receiver or quarterback. That's not their natural position. So they are going to take that. They are going to do that. They're going to go in that direction. You're back to my original point, where colleges aren't preparing these running backs for the pros. So where exactly do they learn to become a pass catcher out of the backfield? once you see the colleges start shifting at that level and start playing more of it's weird to say. Colleges are playing 5 wide spread offenses, 5 wide receivers, running backs run the ball, et cetera, et cetera. But now, as you're seeing, your top running backs are averaging $10 million a year. That's where the franchise tag came in. That's what Saquon Barkley was going to make. That's the average of the top 5 running backs, $10 million a year. You know what the average of the top 5 wide receivers is? $25 million.
Wow.
Okay, but there's only so much room. There's only so many receivers. And if you're not one of the 5 best receivers on your college team, but you can run the football and you can catch it out of the backfield, you're going to say, I will take that, coach, because you might make $1 million in college to do that and then go on and get a $10 million deal in the NFL for 5 years. So at the end of the 6 years, you made $51 million, and that's not good? That's good by anybody's standards.
Once again,
Zeke Elliott.
Value of the
Zeke
position.
Elliott messed this up. Todd Gurley messed this up because these guys broke the bank, and now teams are looking and say, okay, we can do just as good with Tony Pollard or whoever the Rams throw out there. The Denver Broncos showed you this years ago when they had a different 1,000-yard rusher every year because they had a really superior offensive line and a good system.
Scotty D, you're proving my point. Thank you. Teams shifted. They adjusted. Now you're best.
So be happy, running back, that you're getting $10 million. Be happy with that. You make more than a kicker, and the kicker scores every game. You're making more than kickers.
Your average kicker, out of all the kickers, your average kickers make $2.2 million a year. Your average running back, 1.8.
That's pulling down. You're pulling down because you get 5 guys on the roster and the probably your 4th and 5th in the depth chart are making league minimum. So that pulls that average. That's a skewed number. Take your starting running backs. Take your starting running back number and your kicker.
Your rookie contracts. So I will do that. I'm gonna do you a favor, Scotty D. I'll come back next week. I'm gonna do, because I agree with you on the number being a little skewed. But running backs are severely undervalued. And it's to the point, and my main point that I want to put out there is that your rookie contract running backs, top running backs, which already don't get 1st-round picks, you may get 1 because of the position.
That's your value is your value. It's not under or overvaluing. It's your value is your value.
The value of the running back is diminished. It's gone down drastically. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Right, it is. So because that's the argument. So then a running back can't expect to make $25 million because the value has gone down. So
that's
why I got $10 million. I'm happy with that. That's why Tony Pollard signed the deal, because he's never made $10 million before. So he says, you know what? I'm going to take this franchise tag because next year I might not get another $10 million. I might be down to $3 million next year.
As a podcaster, if as a podcaster, you were making $50,000 a year as a podcaster, and then the following year they say, oh, we don't have a need for you as a podcaster, paying you $50,000 when I got some Joe Smo just coming out of college that's 10 years younger than you, has a little bit more energy, and will take $20,000 a year. Would you feel some type of way?
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that.
I know I would.
But I would accept that that's the reality. That's the reality. My reality right now is I have been a Dallas Cowboy fan my entire life. I think I deserve a better seat. Are we playing
tennis?
If I pay $100, I deserve a better seat. I should be more valued. But it is what it is. The value of the seat is the value.
Are we not staying on topic?
We talk about value. We're talking value.
You literally just proved my point. You said you wouldn't be happy about it, but that's the reality.
I would, yeah. That's how it is. So
you've got 27.
So my choice would be to get another job or to take the 20,000 that you just said I was going to get reduced to. I have that option. So these guys have that option too. You can sign the franchise tag and play for 10 million, or you can become a podcaster for $20,000 or work in a cafeteria like me. You can do other things. You don't have to. There's no guns to the heads of the running back saying you have to, you poor thing, you have to figure out a way to get by on the $10 million contract. Sorry, it's reality. It's the reality of the market.
I apologize to our listeners because that's not an argument whatsoever that he's trying to make.
I apologize too. I'm sorry, B Live. I shouldn't be embarrassing you like this in front of our listeners.
You are embarrassing. No. You are an embarrassment right now.
I shouldn't be embarrassing you like that. I'm sorry.
This is just ridiculous.
Running
backs, I got your back, running backs. This is
I look at it like this, both you guys make some interesting points, and I always go back to the original reason why it's harder here for running backs. Like Scotty D said earlier, they gave Todd Gurley a bunch of money, and he was a no-show in the Super Bowl, and we haven't seen him in the league since. All right, since he had a stint with the Falcons. Then you look at Zeke. They gave Zeke a bunch of money, and slowly but surely, it's declining. So if I'm like an owner or a GM, I'm like, you guys notice the trend here? You guys notice the trend? And I see why they don't want to give them the money. A reason
exactly,
and a reason why I believe why they do deserve money, because they take a lot of punishment. I mean, think about it. They pass blocking, running in between tackles, trying to be elusive, and the wear and tear they put their body through. I mean, like, what's that one time where like Jamal Anderson had like an insane amount of carries, like 300 carries, 400 carries, and Derrick Henry, he has a heavy workload too. And like a lot of running backs get a lot of heavy workload, but this all goes back to the classic case of always know what you're getting into before you get too knee deep into it. Fellas, I will say this though, you guys both make some excellent points. B-Live, did you want to add something before we go on to the next topic?
You know who is to blame for all of this, by the way, when it comes to running backs?
Who?
Patrick Mahomes. Because they just won the Super Bowl with their fourth string running back, Isaiah Pacheco. And that doesn't say that every other running back is terrible. It's just now everybody's a copycat league and everybody wants to emulate. I mean, on top of that, you look at the Eagles and what Jalen Hurts did. I mean, they don't need a running back at 4th and 1 on the 1 yard line. It's called a Jalen Hurts special. He, like at the end of the day, and Miles Sanders now he's with the Panthers, and according to Scotty D, he's overpaid at the Panthers, making $7 million a year.
Who won the Super Bowl the year before? The Rams, right?
Let's see, Kansas City.
Yeah,
Kansas City, Rams, Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Who was the Rams running back? I honestly don't even remember who played running back for the Rams in that Super Bowl.
Oh boy,
there you go.
Cam Akers was there for. I think Cam Akers came back just in time for the playoffs.
He wasn't 100%.
They had Darrell Henderson. Malcolm Brown. And
that is a point to be made, Scotty D, that yes, it sucks, but it's one of those things where you've turned into 2 and 3 running back combinations.
Yeah.
But I think well, just a little bit more money should be invested to running backs, just a little bit, where you don't want to sign I think a 3-year, $10 million per year deal. But teams don't even want to do that.
They may want to do that early, but like even Dalvin Cook, and as a Cowboy fan, I would love to reach out and grab Dalvin Cook and put him on a roster rather than go and do the season with no Zeke and a running back who broke his leg last time he carried the ball. I mean, I would, but
the problem I have is
but he's going to want too much money. It just he's going to overvalue the position what they're willing to pay.
That's what's going to happen.
The thing about it is this isn't going to be circular. This is not going to come around. This is going to be a diminishing, like tight end is more important than running back now because of the receiving capability, and it's the running back position.
Can't you see at some point though when teams build their defenses so much focused on the passing game that a good running back is going to come through and teams are just going to pound him through it and soften defense. I honestly I can see that type of thing happen. I mean, we'll see.
And I'll say this real quick before we get up out of here. I told one of my coworkers the other day, I said, look, man, we're about 4 years away from becoming the CFL. Because who's leading Russian Canadian Football League history? Don't nobody know. But with that being, but with that being said, yeah, exactly. Oh my God. But with that being said, we got some more football talk coming up shortly. Is Bill Belichick on the hot seat? Is this a do or die year for one of the greatest coaches of all time? Here we think about it right here next on the Sports Bros Podcast. Another question I have to pose to my fellow sports bros. Do we think that this is the season that Bill Belichick is on the hot seat? What say you, B Live?
Here's the problem that I have with this. Because I'm gonna put Bill Belichick. I'm gonna put Bill Belichick in a echelon where he shouldn't never be on the hot seat. But he should know himself in the game well enough that he should know that the game is speeding past him.
Interesting.
Like he should be able to go out on his own terms, but he's got to be able to see the writing on the wall. Like it's not there. Like, and the thing about this is that even like, I don't think, hopefully enough people out there know well and good enough about Bill Belichick's accomplishments, regardless of if they were with Tom Brady, that Bill Belichick is a surefire, first ballot, greatest of all time Hall of Fame coach. Like I don't see how you couldn't argue that. I don't care whichever way you want to put it, whichever way you want to script it out, write it out, et cetera, et cetera. He's a first ballot, surefire, Hall of Fame, greatest of all time coach. But he should be able to see the writing on the wall that, bro, the game is past you. And here's one inherent problem with that. The Spurs just signed Greg Popovich to an extension. For what?
For Wemby. That's why. For Wemby development.
I think you need fresh blood for that. But maybe Popovich has enough sense to have somebody heir apparent. I think at the end of the day, hopefully they both, like we've seen the greats. We've seen all the greats. We've seen your Coach K's, your Dean Smith, your Roy Williams. You've seen them. They have their heir apparent. Their teams continue to strive and thrive. I just hope that Bill Belichick, as stubborn as he is, can see that it's time for him to go on head towards that trail. He's in his 80s, right?
No, 70s. Think mid 70s, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look it up real quick.
So either way, come on. Either way, it don't matter. The game has surpassed him. Let it go, bro. Scotty D, what you think?
Well, I think considering his past, he's not, I would say, this year on the hot seat per se. But in his 3 seasons without Brady, since Brady left, he went 7-9, 10-7, made the playoffs. That was with what's my man, the quarterback's rookie, Mac Jones. It was his rookie year. Last year they went 8-9, finished third in the division. So there was not any really team improvement from the. I mean, we knew that the first year was going to be a little bit rough, and they kind of threw Cam Newton in there, and that didn't work out too well. There was not improvement last year. Jones didn't really develop more. I think that this year, if he goes 8-9 again, no, he's not going to lose his job. But if he follows that up, next year could be a hot seat kind of year. You know, I think this year a hot seat would be if they would be like 3-14 and some bad things went on around the place, like some scandalous stuff happened, or some unforeseen thing. I think it would have to heat up his chair there for that. But I think he's a year away from the hot seat because at this point, Robert Kraft, who he's in his hundreds, he's used to having the trophy brought to him at the end of the year. And it almost, I think for him, became like a rite of passage. I get my trophy in February. Well, now he's not even getting playoff wins. I think that's going to bother him. And he knows that his window is, unlike Jerry Jones, who is probably going to live another 40 or 50 years, Robert Kraft sees that his time is coming close and he wants to get more trophies. And if, you can only grant so much leeway. I think he's going to become a little bit antsy. If we don't see improvement this year, then I think next year's a hot seat year. And Belichick might be ready at that point. Belichick might, who knows if he suddenly gets tired or has health problems or loses interest or something. The fire in the belly isn't as hot as it used to be. I don't know, but I think that this year, regardless, I think there's no hot seat. I think he's safe regardless of the outcome. But I think a bad season could trigger that for next year.
Please do not give that job to Matt Patricia. Lord.
I think you're okay with that. I think you're okay.
God, don't give it to him.
Well, that's the thing. His potential guys that, like V-Live said, where you groom a successor, all his guys have pretty much tanked it when they've gone and done their own things in other places, from Charlie Weiss all the way back to Cornell. These guys aren't even exactly gone up and lit up the universe on their own. Some have even come back. So, yeah, I don't know. The Patriots probably want to say, let's just keep Bill for a little while longer here.
Yeah, I think like the only coach that did decent was Mike Vrabel and Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's doing great.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Well, did Vrabel actually coach with Belichick, though, or was he just one of his players? I don't remember if he was actually on the Patriots staff. He may have been. I'm not saying. I truly don't remember what his experience was. But
yeah, but I mean, if you're looking like at a coaching style and learning from a coaching tree while you're doing while you're playing, I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel while he was playing, he was still learning, like just kind of.
Oh, sure.
Just putting pieces together, and now that's why he's still the coach at Tennessee. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, he's been pretty good, this last year, but it is what it is. And so I just think that Bill Belichick being on the hot seat is garbage, especially when he's done all that he's done. First ballot Hall of Fame coach, won 6 Super Bowls. Rarely ever had a losing season. I'm like looking at his record online, and even when they had Matt Castle, when Brady got hurt that one year, after he got hit on the knee by Bernard Pollard, they still had a good, successful I think they won like 12 games that year.
10-6.
Yeah. They went 10-6. So I'm like, okay, well, Bill Belichick got it done with Matt freaking Castle. So I don't think he's on the hot seat.
That was 2005, or was it before that? 6?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Either way, it was a long time ago. The thing about it is he was very capable of putting together championship teams way back then.
Yeah.
Now it's 2023. It's okay, bro. You've done it all.
Well, he's also made some mistakes, and he had number 12 back there to kind of help erase some of those mistakes. I mean, he doesn't have a great history in the draft. I mean, he's had some clunkers.
At this point in time, what exactly is he going to accomplish, let alone what he's capable of accomplishing?
Winning without Brady.
He can't. He can't.
That's all he has left to accomplish. Winning without Brady.
And he can't. Not in the state of the NFL the way it is right now. Not as long as Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, we'll talk about him in a second.
Dak is in the league.
Stop that.
We got Dak Prescott out there.
I'm talking about the AFC. I'm talking about the AFC.
Okay.
I'm talking about
Trevor Lawrence,
Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson.
Herbert.
It's not going to happen. Let it go, bro. It isn't. And it's nothing against it. He's done great, but it's just that it is what it is at this point. You're not going to be able to put together a team that's going to be widely successful with all that you have to go through just to be decent, just to get to the playoffs with all those teams.
I can't wait to see Dak throw that football around this year. I can't wait to see old Dak in action.
He said he wasn't going to throw 10 touchdowns this year. I can't wait. Trey Dizzle, I can't wait. Trey Dizzle, I can't wait.
He said he's not going to throw 10 interceptions this year.
Yeah.
I am not going to do it. Okay, we go.
Now there's a case where you want to hand the ball to the running back and pay those guys. That's what we need. There's the running back coming full circle right there.
See, right there.
Let's sign. They should sign Dalvin Cook and Josh Jacobs and Saquon all and just run them through, and then that way Dak doesn't have to throw the ball. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, here you go.
Good talk, guys. Good talk.
Yeah, here you go. Bubble screen, 50-50 ball. No, I'm joking. I'm so joking. But fellas, with that being said, we talked enough about football. Let's talk about baseball. With that being said, guess what time it is?
What's happening? What time is it? What's going on?
Other stuff.
No, it's not Dame time. Oh, I'm glad you asked because I'm looking at my cell phone because I have yet to get a watch. It is time, once again, the return of our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. With that being said, hey, button, hit it! Choices of the voices coming up next. Throw it on the gang signs. Take care. This has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
All roads lead to Dabo.
Cock-a-doodle damn do.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful land. Scotty D, hold your ears. So lovely, Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. We ask y'all a question. Y'all give us an answer. B-Live determines if you follow directions or not, and he is the man at the penalty box. What do they call the dude at the penalty box? We got to find out his name. The dude that holds the door open and tell you.
The gatekeeper or something?
Yeah. Sit your ass right there. 2 minutes. Not following instructions. With that being said, Scotty D, what's on tap this week for the choices of the voices?
Oh, we asked a couple weeks ago, who was your baseball hero when you were a young one? Who was your first baseball superstar in your mind? Who was the first guy you really looked up to? You really loved your first favorite baseball player? Eddie, cool. What do people say? Who they like?
Man, they had a lot to say. All right, it's a whole lot. So I'm gonna go through it kind of quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right. Uncle Mac said, Scott Donnelly, you know my answer. Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. All right?
I probably would have guessed that. I know. Yes.
Yep.
Heroes, legends for the legendary Uncle Max.
Yep. Our very own Hall of Famer. Matty Ice Martin Tracy, he says Carlton Fisk, aka Pudge.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, Carlton Fisk.
Yep, good answer. Jody Miller said Willie Pop Stargell and Dave Parker. Couple of
another local Bucko fan here. That was when the Buccos were family.
Yep. Jeff, don't call me AJ Styles, says Dale Murphy. Good old Bravo there.
There you go, B-Live.
Yep. John Wasick said, I'm partial to lefties. However, growing up, my man was Steve Garvey. He put up some big numbers. He hit 307 times and played well in the postseason. He had a great WAR. He was never had a great WAR guy and didn't have 300 home runs or 3,000 hits. He was a stud from 1974 to 1980, a 4-time Gold Glove winner, and I hope he gets into the Hall of Fame this year. And Scotty D says he was a badass. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
Yep. All right. We got Brian Lovell.
Really
he says George Brett. That's funny because I think was Sunday the anniversary of the Pine Tar incident, if I'm not mistaken, with George Brett.
Oh, was it? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hilarious. All right. Rob Renner says Mickey Hatcher. All right. Ryan Ramel.
Mickey Hatcher. I think he played for the Dodgers I just remember Mickey Hatcher like as an old guy in the '88 World Series playing really well. He was kind of like at the end of his career, and he played really well. So it's the only thing I can think of, like of Mickey Hatcher.
Nothing wrong with that. Ryan Rubelski, he says Eddie Murray and Wally Joyner.
Okay. Wally Joyner. And Rubleski's a Pittsburgh guy too. That's why I was a little surprised to hear those. Oh, he said he liked Rod Carew as well. So
yep. Then he also said he liked Rod Carew. Can't forget about Rod Carew. Ed Martin, he says, call your Yastrzemski of the Boston Red Sox, the first to win the Triple Crown in the history of Major League Baseball.
Which is bad information because he's not even the first Red Sox to win the Triple Crown. Ted Williams had won it twice, so I'm not sure what he was talking about, but that was a little bit of misinformation.
Be Live, is he going into the box with false information?
He's out of here. Yeah, that's the only box without a. But
I hope he just meant that was the first guy he saw win the Triple Crown. That's the only thing I can think, because he was neither the first nor the last person to win the Triple Crown. Miggy's won it since.
Careful.
Got to be more careful.
Got to be more careful.
All right, we got Sean the Cannon. He says Larry Wayne Jones, also known as Chipper Jones. All right.
Chipper Jones.
Our baseball brother, which we got to get on the show very, very soon, Hunter Samboli, he says, believe it or not, I enjoyed watching the late Roy Halladay, the Doc, rest in peace, Doc, towards the end of his career. When I was a kid, along with Jack Hanahan, I'll give someone $5 if they know who that is. And of course, Sin Soo Chu. Jack Hanahan does sound familiar.
Wow.
Yeah, it does sound familiar. All right. Tony Mello says, a side note, how you going to ban Pete Rose from the Hall of Fame for life for betting on baseball and only his team to win, and then open a sports book inside Red Stadium? Good point.
Time to let him in.
Please let him in. Quit playing. I saw a wonderful video of Pete Rose. I think I shared it on the Sports Books Facebook thing, telling you how to hit, like one-on-one. Like, let that man be. He got to get back in the game in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because a lot of hitters need that advice, all right? Kevin Wade said Chipper Jones for me. Patrick Quinn says Ken Griffey Jr. was my dude. Kelly White says Mickey Mantle. I know she never seen him play before.
She gonna, first of all, she's gonna stay in the penalty box just because she's a troll. Yeah. She is a troll, and I'm sick of her. And I love her to death, but I'm so sick of her. She is a troll. Wow. And check out her doing karaoke here in Fayetteville as well. She's a mess, a hot mess. I love her to death. But she's going in the penalty box permanently for being a troll.
And she got the hearts with the eyes and the whole heart emoji. She thought he was cute.
She know what she's doing.
Yeah, she thought she thought he was cute. That's all it is. All right, our boy Joey Buggins, Joe Gaffigan says Cal Ripken Jr. Jason Dubord, what's going on, Dubord? He said, sadly, Roger Clemens. All right, our boy Jose, he says Cal Ripken Jr., Jose Canseco, and Nolan, I will put you in a headlock and beat you on the top of your skull, Ryan. All right.
Yeah.
Randy Martin said, too many to name, but B-Live made him change his tune real quick. Josh Baker says Barry Bonds, the best name in the game. Jojo Comfort says Bill Mad Dog Madlock, third baseman for the
Mad Dog
family, Arrow Bucks. Yep. So B-Live said hurry up. Randy Martin, he said Willie Mays Hayes and Nolan Ryan.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Wow. Yeah. Corey Turner, he says Cal Ripken Jr. Jonathan Wood, he says Chipper Jones. Heath Brady, what's going on? He said David Justice. Not only did he play the same position, he was also married to Halle Berry, Miss Berry. All right. Jeffrey Lewis says Ricky Henderson, electric from the field. And let's see, bring up the rear. Brian Lavelle, he says George Brett. So shout out to all y'all for y'all participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. I don't think I missed everybody. I got everybody.
Yeah, we saw there was one other one, Tom Wynn. He said Joe Pepitone, former Yankee All-Star who just passed away in March. He's Tom Wynn, being a big Yankee fan, I guess that was his favorite Yank growing up. Thank you, everybody.
Yep, thank you to everybody. Yes. With that being said, be live. Growing up, who was your dude in the world of Major League Baseball?
I'm going to echo a couple of people with a couple of answers. Heath Brady hit the nail on the head with David Justice. I don't care what happened afterwards, but the dude was married to Halle Berry. And Halle Berry was the finest thing since sliced bread growing up.
And still is.
I'm trying to tell you. And so, yes, David Justice is definitely on my list. And of course, he's an Atlanta Brave, man, on my 95 championship team. Yes, sir. I believe he hit the home run in game 6 to solidify that win as well, if I am not mistaken. I'm also going to throw in the popular choice of Ken Griffey Jr., the sweetest swing in the game, without question. But I'm going to throw in a little homer pick of my own because, like, I was a Brave through and through. I wanted to match the power and the speed of one Ron Gant.
Oh, yeah, Ron Gant. Yeah,
Ron Gant. People don't realize that at the time, in 1991, he was one of only 3 players in the history of Major League Baseball to go back-to-back seasons in the 30-30 club, 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. The only other players that's ever done that, Willie Mays and Bobby Bonds.
Wow.
And I want to see Ron Acuna Jr. do that this year. I think there's a few more that may have done it since then, but at the time, it was just those 3. And Ron Gant he struck out a lot, but when he got a hold of the ball, that ball flew. That ball flew, and it flew a long distance. Hated to see him leave after the 1993 season, but he was definitely one person growing up that I was like, that's my dude. And that power and speed couldn't match it. On the Braves at the time. Chipper Jones came in, did his thing. Other players have done what they've done for the Braves, but Ron Gant is an unsung hero in my books. Yes, sir.
Scotty D, who you got?
Well, I grew up hardcore bucko and a little bit earlier than you guys. And on that 79 World Series team, there's a catcher by the name of Ed Ott, who I for the Buccos, I took a liking to when I was very young. I had to been 6. I don't know, something about him playing catcher. I liked the catcher position at that time. And then it kind of moved on to Phil Garner, scrap iron. He was my favorite for a long time. And then when I was a little leaguer, I played second base. So I really took a liking to Phil Garner. The orange mustache and the wad of tobacco. I just thought he was the grinder of the team. And I heard some other Buccos mentioned. I heard somebody mention Bill Madlock and Dave Parker, Willie Stargell. Well, Ed Ott and Phil Garner kind of were my guys. I liked Kent DeColvey too. Remember Kent DeColvey, the sidewinder? He wasn't my favorite, but he was up there. And then eventually it turned into Barry Bonds, who became my favorite player ever. And my first probably favorite player that was not a Pirate was Rickey Henderson. Whenever he got traded to the Yankees, I loved the mystique of Rickey being the space stealer going to the Big Apple. So, but my first real favorites were Ed Ott and Phil Garner. Eddie Cool, how about you?
What's that story we heard? What's that story? Go ahead, be live.
I was going to say he's about one player away from me putting him into the penalty box because he named like a lot. He named the whole starting lineup, and I'm over here like, okay,
you named a couple Braves and their wives.
I named 3 people. You named 7.
Eddie Cool, who you got?
I named
who you got?
One wife, and if there is a wife to be mentioned,
you named a wife. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
I saw this.
Go ahead, Eddie Cool.
Say something else about Halle Berry. Say one more thing.
I love Halle Berry, but she's not my favorite baseball player. Eddie Cool.
I saw this picture of Halle Berry on Instagram sitting on her balcony drinking wine. We recorded. My bad. Anyways, so yeah.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and watch the movie Swordfish. I don't care what nobody says. You already know what scene I'm talking about. I'm just like, yes, Lord.
Hold my water. All right, so here we go. I also have a few that I got three in particular. Three. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, B-Line, because it was hard to pick. Damn, it was hard to pick. All right. So the first player was my first ever. Little known fact about Eddie Cool. This member of the Atlanta Braves back in, I think it was 98. Yes, 98. He was a former Colorado Rocky when I first saw him. I liked him then, but I liked him when he started playing for the Braves. They call him El Gato Grande, a.k.a. Andres Galarraga. Yeah, Andres Galarraga was
okay.
I emulated his stance. I mean, I was young and small, and I thought I was El Gato Grande because, like, Eddie, you've been a chunky kid all your life. And I'm like, hey, I think I'm El Gato Grande, but
I like it. It's a good choice.
Yep, Galarraga. Galarraga was one of my favorites. Sammy Sosa was another one of my favorites because he was Mr. Excitement.
Oh yeah. I'll give you that. Until he turned into a white person. Oh, my bad.
I don't know what happened, man.
I'm sorry.
He was using some of that skin lightening cream. Him and Michael Jackson had the same plug and connect. Anyways, and my third and final choice for favorite baseball player had to be none other. Yeah, that is funny. Had to be none other than the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. Because he was another dude that was cool, hip, had the sweetest swing. You never see him like even under pressure. He was cool as the other side of the pillow. R.I.P. Stuart Scott. But still though, yeah. So that's what I got: Sosa, Galarraga, and Sammy Sosa. Because Sammy Sosa was just cool, man. He was cool. He was exciting. So, yep. And that's that. Scotty D, what's on tap next week for the choices of the voices?
All right, we're going to camp. It's training camp time. I mean, footballs are coming, so we'll just go on topic about this upcoming football season. As it stands right now, who do you think is the most overrated and underrated wide receivers in the NFL?
Okay.
Who do you think is overrated and underrated at the wide receiver position in the NFL? And that will give us something to talk about maybe next week or in 2 weeks, whenever we do this again.
Yeah, whenever we do this again. Just to let y'all know, listeners, I'm going to be going on vacation, so there may or may not be an episode. Depends on how I feel, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right, that's been it for this edition of the Choices of the Voices. Coming up next, a round of pepper. All right, so stay tuned to the Sports Bros Podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you know what time it is. It's time for us to go home and get the hell up out of here. But before we go, man, we got something called a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. Here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. And even after a week off, I still got the 4 E's right, all right? With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1959, Chicago White Sox Larry Doby plays his final Major League Baseball game. He retires in 1962 after playing for the Chunchi Dragons in Japan. Matter of fact, I just got a Larry Doby shirt from a Guardians game. Larry Doby, the man. Over to you, Scotty D.
All right, so speaking of the man, there's the new man, a new up-and-comer. Not maybe so much up-and-coming because he has arrived, and that's Carlos Alcaraz, who won Wimbledon last week against the Joker, preventing the Joker from continuing to lay on the titles. And I'm glad because I can't root for the Joker. I'm sick of that guy. And Alcaraz took him out in 5 sets. He is the at the end of 2022, he became the youngest teenager to be number 1 in the world. He is now back to being number 1, and that is his second big win, his second title on the big stage. He won the U.S. Open in 22 and now Wimbledon. So congratulations to the new number 1. B-Live, over to you.
All right. Speaking of number 1 and a coach that can't get there, and he's trying everything he can, but he can't break the rules. We're going to go to that team up north, the Michigan Wolverines. Looks like they're going to be without their head coach for the first 4 games of this season. Jim Harbaugh is discussing with the NCAA because of violations due to recruiting, where he will be suspended for the first 4 games of this season, which should not hurt Michigan whatsoever because their first 4 opponents are the juggernauts of ECU, East Carolina University, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, or is always known UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. Okay, yeah. So let's punish the guy.
I could coach those 4 games, be live.
Right. Let's punish the guy by not punishing the guy. They'll still go 4-0 these games. Jim Harbaugh, stop breaking the rules. Eddie Cool, the ball.
Cack is in a mean scowl, all right? So earlier today, in the world of the National Hockey League, Boston Bruins forward Patrice Bergeron announces his retirement after an illustrious 19-year career. He played all for one team, the Boston Bruins, and he was considered as one of the best two-way forwards of his time, and he did announce his retirement on Tuesday. He was a multi-time Selke Trophy Award winner, which means the best defensive forward, and despite defensive prowess, according to ESPN, this article here, he still scored 427 goals and had over 1,000 points. And also, Patrice Bergeron has a Stanley Cup. I knew he was around for quite some time, but I didn't know Patrice Bergeron was around for 19 whole years. Longevity, kids, that's the name of the game, and happy retirement to you, Patrice Bergeron. Over to you, Scotty D.
All right, so last week on I-95, Jordan Addison, rookie wide receiver from the Minnesota Vikings, who gets paid pretty well because he's not a running back. I think he came in with a 4-year, $13 million contract. Just
here we go.
He got pulled over doing 140 miles per hour. 140. He didn't learn that in Pittsburgh here. He moved on, and he was a Pitt Panther at one point, went over to USC. There has been, he wasn't arrested, but that's pretty criminal stuff right there. He went on to say, and I don't know that he said this the night of, but that it's because his dog was sick. He needed to get something was wrong with his dog, which makes it a little less stupid, but still, you gotta not go 140 miles an hour, kid. You could kill people. That's dangerous. Slow it down to at least 100 if your dog's sick. Dude, bad start for you, Jordan Addison. I'm rooting for you, kid, but slow it down. Be live. Over to you.
You got to get a police escort, player. Go ahead, be live.
Yeah. Call doggy ambulance.
140 miles an hour and still didn't get there fast enough because you got pulled over. So, well, speaking of contracts and money, we talked about the running backs all day long. I said we were coming back to this because as we were recording today, the bag has been given to Justin Herbert. And we see now why they can't pay Austin Eckler his extension, what he wants, because they paid Justin Herbert in the tunes of 5 years, $262 million.
Woo!
$1 million.
No money left over for the running back, be live. None left over.
I do not have the guaranteed money in just yet, but I guarantee you I will get it, and so will you. Also, I'm a sneak in there. The reason why they can't extend Tony Pollard is because the Cowboys extended cornerback Trevon Diggs with 5 years, $97 million. So no money
Zach
for
Martin
the running
next.
back. Yeah, right. He said he don't want to play as a center without some more money. Eddie Cool, double all.
Understandably so. Third and final pepper point. I would like to wish a happy birthday in heaven to Sweetness himself, Walter Payton. All right. Walter Payton was born on this day, right? And happy birthday to him. He's a Hall of Famer, a 1977 NFL MVP, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first team All-Pro. He played for the Chicago Bears. He was born in Columbia, Mississippi, and he also went to the Jackson State University in HBCU. Sweetness, we love you and we miss you, baby. Over to you, Scotty D.
All right, every once in a while, boys, you look forward to sitting down at a meal. There's a meal you love, and you can't wait to sit and eat. And once you do, you're not disappointed, and you just can't wait to go back for more. Well, that is happening this Saturday night, UFC pay-per-view. Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. You have to watch this fight because these boys throw hands. The first time they fought, Poirier got the best of them. This will be a meal that you will sit back and say, oh, I am so full, I want to eat that again. This is a big one. A great card coming up here this Saturday night, but that fight you got to see. Be Live, take us home.
Third and final pepper point, and you know how I like to do it. It's also another instance of what happened. It's really not what happened, but what's really going on in the world today. For the first time since 2014, College Game Day will feature a game for the South Carolina Game Chickens, or their newest name, the Mayo Coots, because they're playing in yet another Duke's Mayo Classic, Battle of the Carolinas against North Carolina, the Tar Heels. Only thing since 2014 that's been done in the world is that Clemson's not one, but two national championships featured in Game Day multiple times. But you know what? We got to give little brother a little love here and there. So the South Carolina Mayo Coots.
This is our year.
Will be. Oh, you got Scotty D this year.
Lenora
You got him this year.
Lenora Sellers, baby. Let's get it.
So let's see if all the hype is really true since the Mayo Coots won against Clemson by 1 point for the first win in 9 years. Yeah. Yes, sir.
A win is a win is a win. 10 years ago, 9 years ahead, a win is a win. So with that being said, we don't like no dry sandwiches. Thank you for watching and listening to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. And then in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. Take care of your mental health. Take care of yourself. If your breath stink, wash your mouth and your ass. Just be clean. It's hot. Drink water. Don't go crazy. I'm about to go on vacation. Be Live, take us home.
Yes, sir.
Get well, Bronny James. Get well soon. See ya.
Get well, Bronny James, and shout out to his brother Bryce for telling that guy, hey man, I'm gonna take a picture, but we not about to throw it on the gang signs. Take care. This has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
All roads lead to Dabo.
Cock-a-doodle damn do. Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.